Dance analysis 1, busy woman. What mood are you aiming to create? Describe the skills you use to create this mood. So in busy woman, I'm trying to create a frustrated, angry sort of atmosphere, quite like a housewife who is frustrated at her family for letting her do all the work. So I'm trying to create a frustrated, angry like woman sort of mood. To do this, I use a lot of facial expressions such as scrunching up my face, pouting, scowling quite a lot. I also use expression on certain words, so quite snappy words. So instead of just singing, I sort of add a little bit of shouting in it, make it quite snappy what I'm saying. Lots of different gestures as well, so such as pointing, folding my arms, putting my hands on my hips, stamping my feet. All of this creates a sort of angry, frustrated atmosphere, quite a stroppy woman. 2. Were you successful in creating the atmosphere for this scene? I feel I have been successful in creating the atmosphere for this scene. I used all of the techniques that I've just mentioned, so the gestures, the facial expressions, the tone of my voice, all of which I believe created a stroppy, angry image of the character I was playing. And after receiving feedback from our tutors say that we managed to get that atmosphere. They did say they wanted it more from us, but I just kept trying to develop it each time I did it. So yes, I do feel I was successful in creating that atmosphere. What do you need to do to improve your contribution to this mood? I think I could do more with my tone of voice. So I feel like it's quite important on certain words to be quite snappy, quite loud, not shouting, but going sort of just past singing a little bit to where you are, frustrated, you are snapping, maybe snapping just, on certain words. I feel I could do that to improve my contribution to it. So it's not like I'm nicely singing, because that can affect the mood. It has to be very sharp tongue. What message does this song send to the audience? How do you enhance the message within the dance? What skills do you use to share this message with the audience? What could you do to improve your contribution to this message? The message it sends to the audience is that these women are housewives who day in, day out are doing the same things over and over, picking up after their children, after their husbands, and they're fed up of it. So that's, it sends the message to the audience. I feel it can be quite relatable to the audience, so the audience can feel like they can relate to the characters. So we do use a lot of Stanislavski techniques in it as well, so that the characters are relatable to our audience. We enhance the message, again, like I've mentioned, by exaggerating our gestures, so lots of pointing, lots of stamping, lots of hands on hips, exaggerating our facial expressions. So a lot of scowling, rolling eyes is a good one as well. And as I've mentioned, to improve the contribution to the message, I feel I could be more snappy with my singing, on certain words. Where does the dance take place? Describe how you show this in the dance. Describe how this affects your movement. So the dance takes place in each individual character's home. So we're not dancing together. We are dancing on our own. We show this by not interacting with each other. So throughout the whole of the dance, we don't interact with each other at all. we all react differently to what's going on with Rita. And that affects our movement because we're sort of reacting to ourselves instead of reacting as an ensemble with each other. We're reacting to ourselves and we're reacting to our own scenarios that we've got in our heads as opposed to a scenario with everyone in it together. So it affects our movement in that we all do very different movement. We're not doing the same movement. We all actually do different movement to show that we are different characters. And describe how your character feels within the scene. How do you show this in your movement? For example, how does this affect your facial expressions and dynamics of the movement? For the majority of the song, my character's angry and frustrated. And I show this by a lot of abrupt movements, such as pointing my fingers, putting my hands on my hips, stomping my feet, especially when I'm walking on and off the stage. But it does change for a little section in the song where my character's quite sad when she's thinking about her anniversary and how her husband always forgets it. And so I do go from sort of abrupt movements to quite mellow, sad movements where I'm quite, putting my hand on my chest and I'm quite gentle and I'm looking sad. I'm looking to the floor because I'm quite sad. And then after that moment of sadness, I go back to being abrupt again, like scowling, frowning, snappy words, pointing my fingers, stamping my feet. Describe 3 points in your dance which are good and explain why they are effective. So the first I feel is just after the bastard, so when we've all sang Bastard about Graham getting caned at school, I start sweeping, and I feel like that is good because it shows my anger. Like I feel I can really take my anger and frustration out on the sweeping. So I feel that it really, really shows my frustration and my anger. Another point I feel is where I walk off stage to get my coat. This is because I can stamp around quite a lot and make a really big exit and a big entrance to show that I'm a frustrated woman. So I like that bit. And another bit is when I'm being mellow and I'm sad about my husband forgetting my anniversary. This is because the reason why I think this is good is because it's complete change to everything else I've been doing in the song. So at this point, I'm not angry, I'm not frustrated, I'm just quite mellow, and it shows the other side to my character. It shows a completely different side to my character. And I think it's really nice to see that change in mood and in the way I'm being. Question 8. Target 3 areas of the dance which needs improving. For example, timing, facial expressions and dynamics. List and describe these moments you need to work on and film yourself improving these areas. Okay, so one, my timing I feel could be better, particularly on the bit where we all look out to the audience and sing Mother's Spit, Mother's Saliva. I seem to get my head movement wrong sometimes there, where I'm not moving my head on the beat quite in time with everyone else, so I really need to work on that. My tone of voice, so I feel like I've mentioned before, I feel I could be more snappy in certain bits. So the bastard bit, for example, I want to try and not singing that. I'm more hissing it, so hissing bastard instead of singing it, because I feel like that's a really big point. And facial expressions. Although my facial expressions are really good and I am proud of them, I feel they could be a lot bigger, just so that the audience at the back of the theatre can see it. So they need to be a lot more exaggerated and a lot more animated and a lot bigger in general, just so that I can really show how my character's feeling to the people at the back of the auditorium as well as the people at the front.